Welcome out to the show tonight, guys. This is Studio 321. This is your host, Eddie B. So I want you to listen to this clip by Ronald Reagan.
You ever notice how every time a Republican takes office, the Democrats start acting like it's the end of the world? I mean, the minute we cut taxes or trim the budget, they start screaming that the sky is falling. Now, don't get me wrong, I admire their consistency. If the stock market surges, they say it's just helping the rich. And if it crashes, they say, yep, that's what happens under Republican leadership. And don't even get me started on foreign policy. A Republican president could be shaking hands with world leaders and signing peace deals, and they'd say, it must be appeasement. But the minute there's tension overseas, they rush to the nearest camera like it's Black Friday saying, see, we told you the world would catch fire if he was in charge. Now, I've always said, it's fine to disagree on policy. That's democracy. But if your best shot at winning is hoping the American people lose, well, maybe you're in the wrong country.
Now look, was that not the most deadly accurate thing you've ever seen? Look, and think about this. That was 40 years ago, Ronald Reagan said that, okay? And I sat there, I came across that on the internet, and I listened to it, and I was like, oh my God. Like, he's got that pinned 100%. It's the truth. It was true back then, and it's true today. Now, but here's the thing. But the reason they really can't get away with all that like today like they used to, because if you notice, it's getting tougher and tougher. Number one, the media landscape has completely changed, okay? You know, back in the old days, you had really, I'm going to say, 3 or 4, news channels you could go to, probably ABC, NBC, CBS, and maybe like 60 Minutes. That's all you had back in the old days. Now I'm talking about the 80s, 90s, really up into around 2000. So basically, and those are all liberal Democrat channels. And when I was young, I never really thought about that. We would just turn on the news and the world news, and we would just watch, and you just believe what you were told, right? Well, now you realize that was all bull. But there was no way to get any other information, okay? You had 3 or 4 channels, and that was it. So, and they all spit the same garbage. So, like, you really couldn't tell any other way. I mean, if you read the newspaper, but that's for only a select few. Most people don't have time to sit and read the newspaper. Nowadays you don't even have newspapers really. But back in the old days, that was the big thing. Everybody sat in the morning and read the newspaper. But still, it was really only like a select group of people who did that. So you had the newspaper and the news channels, and that was it. Well, nowadays, you have an army of podcasters and internet shows. Now, I was trying to do some research and find out how many there actually are. And it's very undefinitive, but they were saying that as far as on the conservative side, there's around 100, large conservative podcasts around the country. And I was like, wow, man, I mean, think about that. 100, that's a lot. They said they actually put out about 3 times the amount of shows that the liberal ones do. Now, look, the funny thing about that is the reason I got into podcasting is because I realized that, I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in it for any of that type of fame type of stuff. And I'll probably never get there, but that's okay. I'm just trying to spread the word the best that I can to help people that I know, to try to decipher information, because I know most people really don't have, 10 hours a day or even a week to sit and watch news or news channels or anything like that. They don't have time for that. So I try to take agenda items, kind of cram them down into, give you the summary of them, usually throw my opinion in on it, and that's it. Well, there's a lot of that out there nowadays. Actually, again, around 100 on the conservative side. So that's great. So you can't just basically lie to America anymore and think that it's going to fly, because, again, even when I'm doing research, okay, I'll see something on the news where I don't normally trust the news unless there's certain people that I'm watching. Well, then I'll switch to another channel, or I'll just jump off. I'll go on the internet. I'll look up my trusted sites, and some of them are very good. There's some very good trusted sites on the internet, and I'll read the same articles that they put off on there to see what they say about it. And once you get 3 or 4 different ones from different angles, you usually get the correct story. Some of them like to add a little bluster to it, just for showbiz. Some of them are pretty simple and they just keep it direct, but by the time you read 4 or 5 different channels, you can usually get a very accurate idea of what's actually going on. And that's what I try to bring to my podcast. So, that's what's different than 40 years ago. But Ronald Reagan was dead on when he said that. I'm telling you, I've watched that probably 15 times now, and it's very shocking to me how accurate he was 40 years ago. Now, the problem that I've always had, and look, this can be very frustrating. The more I deal with Democrats, when I started my podcast, I'm always online talking to people, different people here and there, getting in chats and stuff. They never can look back and do any reflection. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie 50 First Dates. It's about where that girl has like a brain injury, and every day she wakes up is like the first day for her. She can't remember what happened yesterday. It's like every day is like the first day of her life. And it's a funny movie. It's a comedy. It's pretty good. I think Adam Sandler was in it. But anyways, that party, the Democrat Party, reminds me of the movie 50 First Dates. It's like their voters every day, man. You can just tell them a new lie and they just absorb it like it's real. And it doesn't matter that they were lied to yesterday and that was proven to be a lie, because they don't even remember yesterday. And it seems to go on day after day after day. And it's like they just believe these people over and over again. And it's crazy to me because, look, you lie to me once or twice in my life, I'll never trust you again. I might listen to what you say, but I'm like, everything you say, I'm analyzing it. Is this the truth? Is this guy lying to me? I remember he lied to me before, blah, blah, blah. These people don't do that, man. They just absorb it like it's real. And it's insane, okay? It really hurts that party because it's a level of dumbness and gullibleness that they get constantly manipulated. And you have to realize, because of all these years of manipulation, the Democrats are masters at it. They're masters at it. You know what I mean? But it's getting very hard to do that nowadays. It really is. It's getting tough because, again, you have multiple sources right at your fingertips to check and see if that's actually accurate information. I catch people lying all the time. Now, some of the sites that I go to, are not mainstream sites. They're like, I think, where the news hunters actually go for their news. It's like that you get news. It's just the most straight, boring stuff. Like, it's tough to read sometimes. It's not fun. It's none of that. But that's where news people go to get their stuff. So I know some of these sites, so I'll dig in there. And again, like I said, I'll take that information, condense it, and try to put it on my show to kind of keep up with current events. I'm not trying to be a newsman. I would never want to be any of that stuff. That's just not me. I like to do put my opinion on the internet, and do kind of summaries of what I think's going on, because it helps people who, again, just normal folks like me who don't have all that much time to sit, or don't want to sit and read and watch news and stuff. They just have busy lives, So, but anyways, guys, that Reagan stuff, man, that's really a telltale sign. The Democrat Party nowadays is way worse than it's ever been. Reagan would probably be shocked at what's going on nowadays. But we're winning the war. We are definitely winning the war. We got the ultimate fighter at the head of the army. That's Trump, man. That guy takes no guff from nobody. He's taught the Republicans how to fight. I love it, and keep watching the podcast, keep watching the internet stuff from the conservatives. It helps it all grow. And then, we're getting to that point now where they're not going to be able to lie to us anymore. They're not. Because all you're going to have to do, you're going to be able to check all your sources, and it'll educate you, educates the country, and then we become more powerful as a people. Anyways, guys, if you like my show, please like and subscribe. This is Eddie from Studio 321. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.